all the controllers needed for proper functioning of the instrument are mapped to virtual knobs in 5 GUI panels, which can be loaded via the drop-down menu. The function of each controller is indicated by the associated label. The virtual knob permits monitoring of the incoming MIDI data, but can also be used to directly control the instrument. I will explain the function of each knob and play examples showing how the sound changes when we move each controller. The first page is Realtime Sound Shaping CCs. CC11 expression controls continuous transition across the dynamics, from pianissimo to fortissimo, free from phasing artifacts, due to sample modeling proprietary harmonic alignment technology. An expression pedal or a breath controller, routed to CC11 or CC2 respectively, are highly recommended for the most realistic real-time playing. Please note, a medium, comfortable brass dynamic level corresponds to CC11 around 60 or 70. Strong fortissimo is achieved at about 90 or 95. Higher values creates an exceptionally bright, extreme fortissimo sound which should be used only for short, special effects, accent, etc. Vibrato intensity increases linearly from CC1 values between 0 and 96. Above 96, vibrato converts into a 2 or 3 semitone shake. CC19 is vibrato rate. The frequency range is approximately 2.5 to 8 Hz. Default CC value is 64. CC26 attack time and CC27 release time. As the name says, these two controllers are for not on attack duration, default 64, and not off release duration, default 15. This also allows for altering the relative duration of each key switch. I will explain key switches in more detail later. The second page is Modulation, Effects and Mutes. CC20 Attack Modulation. Note on pitch modulation depth reproduce the typical slide pitch modulation of the real attacks. This can vary from known, more precise initial intonation, to slightly excessive. Default is 64. CC22 Transition Flutter. On transition flutter intensity, bursts of flutter are automatically generated on transitions, reproducing the behavior of the real instrument. CC22 controls the overall intensity of this flutter. The recommended range is 80 to 100. Default is 100. CC21 Growl, to reproduce a growly or dirty sound. Default is 0. CC23 Flutter tongue. Frullato intensity, a flutter tongue-like effect, may be added by directly acting on this controller. Default is 0. Different types of frullato can be obtained by adding CC21 to CC23. CC100 mutes. Let's switch to the trumpet to show this feature. MIDI loadable mutes. These mutes are non default from CC100 between 0 and 18, straight from 90 to 36, cup from 37 to 54, bucket from 55 to 63, harmon from 64 to 91, harmon plus stem from 92 to 109, and unison ends, a specially devised IR to reduce phasing when playing unison, 110 to 127. The third page is pitch and time-related controllers. CC24 – Dynamics to pitch. In the real instrument, pitch is also affected by the transient changes of the dynamics. This CC controls the amount of these pitch changes. Higher settings of CC24 may also allow breath controller players to perform a realistic vibrato by simply modulating the airflow. CC28 – Random detune. Real playing is almost invariably characterized by a slight detuning of each note. Accordingly, random detuning is implemented in each instrument of the brass series. This controller controls the intensity of this effect. CC32 – Pitch fluctuations. Real playing is also characterized by slight pitch fluctuations. This phenomenon is usually more evident in the initial part of the note, before the player starts to correct the pitch. CC32 controls the intensity of these effects, from very slight to strong. Default setting is 64. CC25 – Velocity to dynamics. Allows the control of the initial dynamics by creating a ramp between note-on velocity and the current expression value. This allows fast sforzando and crescendo effects, often too difficult to create with the expression pedal. When using a breath controller, I recommend to disable this link, but when using an expression pedal, it's very useful. CC5 – Portamento time. By default, the duration of portamento is controlled by the velocity of the overlapped note. Under some circumstances, it may be preferable to control the duration of portamento with a dedicated CC. This is particularly true when using a wind controller, where the velocity of the overlapped note basically corresponds to the current dynamics. Lower dynamics will unavoidably yield long portamento times and vice versa. By activating portamento time in the drop-down menu, you will open a dedicated window. These two knobs show how the duration of portamento is currently controlled. Default is 100 by velocity. By acting on the knobs, you may set the relative weight of velocity versus CC5 for controlling the portamento time. Page 4 is Timbral shaping. Controllers CC90 to CC93 are reserved for real-time control of the harmonic gain, related to the entirely new feature of timbral shaping. Later I will explain this feature in detail.